Hi guys, it's Jim Bounds, Motorhome Rehab Ranch, and on Patreon and Co-op Motorworks. And beautiful sunny day in Florida, hot. And let's play a game. Let's say this is your new motorhome. New. This is your new motorhome. You just picked this baby up, and you're going to drive it home. You know the scariest time to ride a motorcycle is the first time. You don't know how to do it. Well, same thing with one of these. First time, you'll never forget the first time you drive this thing home. Every little thing, you're gonna be a nervous wreck when you get home because you're gonna be listening to every little noise. Okay? Slowly, you'll start understanding what the noises are and say, I don't care about that. But the first trip, that's the one. Have you made that trip yet? You got a story? I bet. If you haven't made that trip, the anticipation is there, I'm sure. So, let's play that game. Just got this thing, just flew in, and I'm going to drive it home. Never had one before. Walk up to it. Good looking beast, you know. Somebody took care of it. Got aluminum rims. Tires look a little off-road, but yeah, good looking beast. And the thing that's really nice on a hot summer day in Florida, I can hear the generator running, which means one or both of these well, that one's an original one. We might want to leave that off. This is a brand new Furrion roof air conditioner. So let's go inside and see if this thing works, all right? Come on. Oh yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Heck with the upholstery here, very 80s. It's cool, that's what you want. Yeah, I'm in here. Well, come on in and sit down for a second and let's talk. So, you've come in your motorhome, you've made the deal, you're happy with that, you're ready to drive it home, and you've read them as much as you can. You know, you've gone through a checklist. So what are we going to do? First thing to remember is this. You drive 250 miles. No further. Matter of fact, the first one you want to drive 5 miles. Stop, walk around the coach and touch the hubs. If you have a bearing or a brake issue, it will spike a temperature. And if it's right now, you need to know right now, and it'll get hot right now. So drive it 5 minutes, stop, pull to the side of the road, and touch the hubs. Okay? That's just to be sure that the wheel won't pass you. Second thing is, how did it ride in the last 5 minutes? Did it ride pretty good? Did it cough? Did it sputter? Did it smell funny? Because if it has a current issue, think of the triggers that you would think of going down the highway. You'd smell liquid, you'd smell coolant, you'd smell oil, you'd notice it was bucking or it didn't have good acceleration. Pay attention to those things. The first 5 minutes are really important, okay? All right, so you walk in the coach. What are you gonna do? You're gonna come up here in the captain's chair. All right, number one, warp factor 2. Now this baby here, this guy's obviously a pilot, the previous owner. We got a big Sun-Tac, 8,000 RPM Sun-Tac. That's impressive. But pretty much everything else is original. All right, so you look around, see what's been wired, you see what's not been wired. You gotta remember there's 45 years of good intentions in here. Like we've got a CB radio down here. Wow, a Johnson 414. I bet you that baby's, Smithsonian may be interested. But the first time you drive a coach, don't try all the buttons. Try the ones that are going to get you home, get you safe, get you where you need to be, and then start trying everything. Okay? It's really the best thing to do. Okay, so we're in here now. He says it's ready to go. Now, it has been sitting overnight, like tomorrow morning when you get in the hotel and you're getting ready to leave. This is the carburetor. All right, now, carburetor has to be woke up. So you hit the gas one time, that sets the choke. There's a spring-loaded device that when it's cool, it's waiting for the accelerator to push down and open the butterflies one time, and it's going to close the choke. Okay? Now, the next two times you're going to push 3 times total. First one is to set the choke. The next 2 are to pump the accelerator pump. There's a little air pump, a fuel pump, that when you push the gas to the floor, it squirts a little bit. So we want to squirt it 3 times. First time is going to set the choke. The next 2 times are going to squirt some fuel down the throat because we're going to choke it. Remember, the choke closed. Then we're going to throw some gas down it, and she's going to fire. All right? So 1, 2, 3. Okay? Now, if it's hot, and you know it's hot, you may not have to do any of that. But if you don't know it's hot, you need to set the choke. So it won't hurt it to hit it 3 times. If the carburetor is not flooding, it won't hurt it to hit it 3 times and fire it if you're unsure. But the reason you want to do that is the carburetor needs to be set up in its idle circuit, first in its choke circuit, and then after it runs for a minute, you hit it once, choke goes off, little spring, that goes off, and now it's in the full mode, and it should go down to 950. Yeah, there you go, 950 RPM. So this baby's set up right, okay? And so look around at your gauges. While you're sitting here letting it warm up and start getting smelly, see your oil gauge. This oil gauge shows 3/4 of an oil. This is an idiot gauge. It doesn't have any calibration. And normally it'll go to about half or 3/4. Now, as it warms up, as you're sitting here, you'll see that needle go down. It might scare you a little bit, but it will go down to be half of where it is now, which is normal. And then when you rev it, now watch, let's see. Yeah, see it goes up just a little. As it heats up, this will come down. When I rev it, it'll come back up to half of what it lost, okay? Now, your water temperature gauge, if it's a factory sender, gauges are pretty resilient. It will go to a 1/4 mark, the first mark on that gauge, and it will stop. It will sit there like it's super glued. Matter of fact, you want to look at it now to see where it is. So when it goes to a 1/4 and it just sits there, you'll know that it actually is working, okay? But that's what the water is going to do on this big block. You watch your oil and your water as it's sitting here warming up. You make sure it's sitting at 950 RPM. That's idle. See how it goes in and then goes down. That's the vacuum advance right there, and then it goes down. All right? So it seems to be working pretty good. Now, it's running. Put your foot on the brake. It should go no more than about halfway to the floor. It goes all the way to the floor, but it does feel like it hits. I have felt that, but I'm not worried about where it sits. It's just what it feels like. Okay? So if you got a pedal, put it in drive. Your tach should go down about 100 RPM. So you're going to get about 8 or 850. Engine's going to idle down, and it's going to set in place. It should idle where you feel it sounds smooth. You can verify that because it's under 950. Now you let off on the brake a little bit, it moves. When you let off on the brake and it moves, means that none of the brakes are locked up. Now say you did this and you let your foot off the brake and it didn't move at all. Well, if you're on a hill, you know. But if you're on a flat surface and you let go of it and it doesn't move, that could indicate that you have a brake or a bearing dragging. So you need to look a little further. But if you put it in gear and it moves like this one does, chances are we're in good shape. Now, put it back in park. It's a hot day. Generally, I'm not going to touch the air conditioner until I get home and safe. Why? Because there's a piston-driven compressor down there that if it throws all the belts off, we're done. Okay? Call this a sauna. You can get home, you can take a shower, lose a couple of pounds of weight, but sweat your butt off. Matter of fact, if it does get hot, you can turn on the heater and it'll drop the temperature a little bit. So recognize you're going to get hot. Now, say it does get hot. You can prop your engine cover up with a frothy beverage can, 2 of them, and escape the air here. Yeah, you're going to get hot, but you'll get home. Prime directive is like the Blues Brothers. Half a pack of cigarettes, full tank of gas, it's dark, and we'll wear sunglasses. Hit it, right? That's your prime thing. You want to get there. So don't be playing with the air conditioner, or let's see how big, how good the sound is. Unless you know that's not going to hurt anything. Because wouldn't it suck? You're playing the sound system really loud and you blow the fuse that feeds the whole electrical system, and then you got a $1,000 bill, and maybe you could see if the CV works. Breaker, I want to talk. I don't know. So don't touch anything. We want to get there. We want to get home. We want to get safe and get a big box and probably yank out a big pile of wires, because somebody has had good intentions for 45 years. And like this at one time cradled his XM. Well, we don't do it that way anymore. It's in here. And this Sony radio. So don't mess with all this stuff. Let it alone. Get it home. Get your baby safe. And then we go from there. Now, go to the gas station. Touch your rims. You put gas in it. You pump it as slow as it'll pump. As slow as it'll pump. You might want to pack a lunch the first time. Pump it as slow as it'll pump. Watch underneath. Be sure you see no fuel leaks. If you see a fuel leak, stop pumping. Stop pumping. If it stops slowly, that's a vapor leak. If it continues to leak, that's a feed leak, and we're going to have to deal with something. Now, if it's a vapor leak, that means that's how much gas you put in till you get home. I ran for 2 years like that. So if you say it does not leak and you're going slowly and finally it pops back. As soon as it pops back, it'll sputter, spit, it'll throw gas out a little bit. These things are terrible putting gas in. It has an 1 1/4 inch pipe that runs about 20 feet, and it has a single 5/16 vent line. How can that work? It doesn't. So you pump it as slow as you can, pops back, let it gurgle for about 30 seconds, and then pump it again as slow as you can, and when it pops, stop. No more. You're tempting fate with a 56 feet of vent line. Okay. Now, theoretically, look how much gas you've got up there. If you've got enough gas to go 250 miles at 7 miles a gallon, that's what you want to do. You make that figure. That's how many miles you want to drive. Why? Because you know you can get there. You don't have to worry, does the gas gauge work? They lie. This thing right now says it's full. It's not full. 4.5 inch deep with a float in it. I mean, how accurate can that be? It's 45 years old, okay? So, after you get enough fuel in it, look at how much gas you put in, make a calculation, go 250 miles. You stop, go pee, touch the hubs, remember that. Pump this gas in slowly, back in. It won't cost too much because it will only be 250 miles worth of gas. Pops back, go another 250 miles. That's how you drive this baby. Okay? I learned that because my dad was a Grand bus driver. We made damn good time to the 7-Eleven. But I found that Janie likes to smell roses. She loves to stop. And I found the motorhome does too. And I just had to change myself. That was easy. So, if you want to haul ass and be Ben-Hur, they'll do it. Maybe you should say, yeah, I can do that, but why should I? Why do you want to show up, Show up broke? All right, guys. Well, look, if you bought one of these, there's a lot of you guys that are buying these coaches, and it's exciting, isn't it? You found it. Well, I didn't think it would take you 30 years to find it, but I appreciate that. And these things can be a lot of fun. And a lot of you guys picking them up, you find them in a barn. How can you find a barn find? There's not many of those around. In GMCs there are. Why is that? Because the guy that bought it, it's his daughter. He felt bad putting it in the barn. He didn't take it in the house. And when you buy this motorhome from him, you are taking over as steward for his daughter. And you need to respect that. You need to respect him. Buy dinner, for God's sake. Let him have a great experience, as much a good end experience as you want to have in your experience. Because that's what these are. These are experience, man. Yeah, can't wait to get mine out on the road. We've decided to do a few different things. So this fall, if you see me show up, you may know I'm there. Well, look, good luck with your beast. If you're out there on the road, and good friend of mine called one time, he goes, Jim, I can't believe, geez, the wheel passed me. I can't believe, that's all good right over there. Let him talk, get it out. You know, you got to get it out, right? You got all this stuff out. I didn't say anything. He got finished. Cal said, "Are you there, Jim?" I said, "Bummer, dude. I'm glad I'm not you. Take it easy. Relax. All is good. Call me. Get a beer. Talk to you later. Thank you for being involved with us. Thank you for being ranch hands. And if you're not, come on, man. Let's get involved. See you."